Hello students and welcome to my channel. Today we will be learning Standard 10 English Kumar Bharati Unit 4 4.2 lesson The Luncheon. We will be learning this lesson in two parts. Before we begin with the very humorous lesson The Luncheon, let us get introduced to the author of this lesson. The lesson is written by William Somerset Maugham, 1874 to 1965. He was a distinguished British playwright, novelist, and short story writer. He was among the most popular writers of his era and reputedly the highest paid author during the 1930s. His work is characterized by a clear, unadorned style, cosmopolitan settings, and a shrewd understanding of human nature. The Luncheon is a light-hearted account of an incident in the author's life, who is also the narrator of the story. Before we begin with the lesson, let us know the meaning of the word luncheon. Luncheon, it means a formal lunch. Let's begin with the lesson, the luncheon. I caught sight of her at the play, and in answer to her call, I went over during the interval and sat down beside her. It was long since I had last seen her, and if someone had not mentioned her name, I hardly think I would have recognized her. She addressed me brightly. So the narrator, he had been to a theatre to see a play. And at the time, a lady, she comes and she greets him in a very familiar manner to the narrator. So in reply to her greetings, the narrator, during the interval of the play, he went towards the lady and he sat beside her. Now he was not able to remember how long before he had met this woman, that is the lady beside whom he was sitting. Long time since he must have met this lady, but he said I was not able to remember the name of that lady. Until and unless somebody must have mentioned her name, I hardly think I would recognize the woman or even I would have known her name. But the lady, she addressed to the narrator very brightly as though she was very familiar to the narrator. Well, it's many years since we first met. How time does fly. We are none of getting any younger. Do you remember the first time I saw you? You asked me to luncheon. Did I remember? So when the narrator sat beside this lady, the lady is trying to make the narrator remember their first meeting and how did they go for the luncheon. So she's trying to make him recollect all the memories. She said that long years since years before we have met each other, and see how the time flies. We are getting older now. Do you remember the first time I saw you? That is, it was a long back they had met each other. She's trying to make him to recollect all those old days. And she further adds that you have even asked me to go for a luncheon. Now here the narrator, he started asking a question to his own self. He said, did I remember? But somewhere you find over here, he's trying to recollect some moments, where he has met this lady for the first time and he had taken this lady for a luncheon. Now let us see what happens further. It was 20 years ago and I was living in Paris. I had a tiny apartment and I was earning barely enough money. She had read a book of mine and had written to me about it. I answered, thanking her, and presently I received from her another letter saying she was passing through Paris and would like to have a chat with me. But her time was limited and the only free moment she had was on the following Thursday. And I would give her a little luncheon at Foyot's afterwards. Foyot's is a restaurant and it was so far beyond my means that I had never enough thought of going there. So while talking to the woman, now the narrator goes into the flashback of around 20 years ago. The time when the narrator was living in a Paris in a small apartment. He was not a very renowned and a famous playwright, writer, author. No, he was just a beginner 20 years ago. And he had just started his career as a writer. And he used to earn very less money. And he had written a book. So after reading his book, The lady, she read the book and she was much impressed by the author. And so she wrote a letter in appreciation to this author, that is to the narrator. You know, the time was there where that time there were no social medias and all. And the best way to communicate to each other was only the letters and the mails. So this lady, she liked the book which was written by the narrator, or you can say by the author. She was so much impressed that in appreciation to his book, she sent a letter to the author, that is to the narrator. Now when the narrator, he was, a struggler, you can say, or just a beginner. So when he got the appreciation letter from this lady, even he posted a letter to her in response to her letter. In one, such a correspondence went on between the lady and the narrator, that is to the author. So the lady and the author narrator, they communicated to each other through the post. And in one of the letter, the woman, she convinces the author, that is to the narrator, to that she wants to meet him and want to have a chat. Chat, it means to have a very friendly talk with the author, that is to the narrator. Now the lady said that she was going to some place and she was going to pass through Paris. And she said that when I'm going to go through Paris, I would like to meet you and want to have a talk with you. But this lady, she had a limited time and she had a time only to meet to the narrator, that is to the author, on the following Thursday. So the narrator, he thought that, okay, a lady, she is going to come to meet me and it will be better that I will invite her for a luncheon. So he decides a place and he decides that I will invite this lady for a little luncheon at Foyot's. Now Foyot, it was an expensive restaurant which the narrator couldn't have even afford to go to. It was far beyond the means of a narrator, because as I told you, he was just a beginner. He had just started writing the books. He was not so much popular or famous or a renowned writer. He was earning very less money. So it was far beyond the mean. That means it was not affordable for the narrator to invite this lady for a little luncheon at the Foyot's. But even though he invited this lady, that I will take this lady for the little luncheon to Foyot's. Let's see now what happens next. I had 80 francs, gold francs, to last me the rest of the month, and a modest luncheon should not cost more than 15. If I cut out coffee for the next 2 weeks, I could manage well enough. So the narrator finally, he decides to meet the lady for the luncheon at Foyot's. Though it was a very expensive restaurant, he decided to himself that I will take this lady for luncheon at Foyot's. Now the narrator, he had only 80 francs. That is, franc, it means the currency used in France. And that amount he had to spend for the entire month. That would rest for him for the entire month. But he assumed that even if I order for the modest, that is the food, for the luncheon for the lady, he assumed that the food would not exceed more than 15 francs. But for that too, he had to make the compromises. And what compromises he made? He said that 15 francs I will spend, but at the cost of making compromises to cut down. That is, by not having his coffee for the next 2 weeks. This way he can save his money. And by this, he would save the money, and that way he could somehow manage to take the lady for the luncheon at Foyot's. I answered that I would meet my friend at Foyot's on Thursday at 12:30. She was in appearance imposing rather than attractive, and she gave me the impression of having more teeth, white and large, and even then were necessary for any practical purpose. She was talkative, but since she seemed to want to talk about me, I was prepared to be an attentive listener. So finally, after the male conversation with each other, the narrator answered that, and it was been decided that the narrator would meet this lady, that is his friend, at Foyot's. And as I told you, Foyot was the most expensive and the fancy restaurant, And so the day and the time was been decided on Thursday, that is 12:30 they will be meeting each other. Now the narrator, he had imagined the lady to be a very attractive woman. Now when he had a correspondent with this lady, he did not know the age, whether she is a young woman or she is a lady. He did not know anything about this lady. So when he meets, he had an imagination about this lady that she must be a very attractive girl, or she must be a very attractive young lady she must be. So when he meets, he finds that the lady is not attractive, but she was imposing. She was very grand and impressive in appearance, and also she smiled without any reason, as though she was trying to show her more teeth, and those were very white and large. And she was just talking. She was very talkative she was, and she was talking only about me. So the author, the narrator, is saying that now one thing I knew, that she is very talkative and I have to just listen to her. But the narrator was happy to do that too, because he was all prepared to be an attentive listener, because the lady was talking only about the narrator. She was doing all the appreciation and she was talking just about the narrator. So he was very happy and he decided, okay, I am prepared now. I just have to be an attentive listener, because there were two reasons. First thing, the lady was very talkative, and next thing, that the lady was talking only about me, that is all the narrator, and she is just praising me, and there are only appreciations words for me. So he was all prepared to hear this, and he was rather enjoying it. I was startled when the menu was brought, for the prices were a great deal higher than I had thought. But she reassured me. I never eat anything for luncheon, she said. Oh, don't say that, I answered generously. I never eat more than one thing. I think people eat for too much nowadays. A little fish, perhaps. I wonder if they have any salmon. So after the narrator and this lady, when they went to the restaurant, to the foyers, they settled down to the table. The waiter, he came with a menu card. And when the narrator, when he saw the prices of the dishes, he was startled. That means he was shocked. The prices of all the dishes were very high, beyond his imagination. So he was somewhat shocked. But when the lady, she said to the narrator that I never eat anything for the luncheon. When she said this, somewhere the author got reassured. Reassured means what? He was able to come out of that fear, out of that upset situation. He was embarrassed. But when he heard the lady saying that I never eat anything for the luncheon, he somewhat felt less upset, or he got relaxed when the lady said this. But because he was a host and that lady was a guest, so he did not showed her that he is feeling relaxed after she said that I never eat anything for the luncheon. But on the other hand, he said that, oh, don't say that. He answered very generously. Further, the lady says that I never eat more than one thing, she said. And she says she says that nowadays, people eat so much things nowadays, she said. Then further she adds up, but I will have a little fish. And she says that I wonder if the restaurant has the salmon fish with them. If they have a salmon, I would like to have salmon. So she said, I never eat anything for luncheon. And later, after some time, she says that I never eat more than one thing at a time, she said. And she says that I would like to have a salmon. Now salmon, it was the most expensive fish. And so she said, I would like to have a salmon. Well, it was early in the year for the salmon and it was not on the menu. But I asked the waiter if there was any. Yes, a beautiful salmon had just come in. It was the first they had. I ordered it for my guest. The waiter asked if she would have something while it was being cooked. No, she answered. I never eat more than one thing. Unless you had a little caviar. And never mind caviar. Now see the number of dishes she keeps on ordering, and every time she just says one thing. I never eat more than one thing. And likewise, she is ordering dishes after dishes. Children, this is just a beginning now. So now when the lady, she says, I would like to have a salmon. So the narrator, he says to the waiter, do they have any salmon? But when he sees into the menu card, he doesn't find a salmon into the menu card. So he says to the waiter, do they have any salmon? Because it is not been mentioned into the menu card. So he says that this is not a right season for the salmon, he said. But we have just got in a very beautiful salmon. Now let me tell you one thing, children, that salmon, first of all, it is a very expensive fish. It is a silver color fish which is very expensive. Now the time when the lady had ordered for the fish, it was not mentioned upon the menu. That means it was not a right season for the salmon. Even though the waiter said that they have a very beautiful salmon. So because it was not a right season for the salmon, and also basically the salmon fish is very expensive, and also it was not a proper season for the salmon, so the salmon fish, the dish was very very expensive and very costly. It was going to be cost for the narrator. So the waiter says, okay fine, by the time the salmon get cooked, would you like to have something? When the time it is been cooked, would you like to have something? The lady answered, I never eat more than one thing, she said. But unless you have some little caviar, and never mind caviar. So remember, till now she was saying she do not have anything for the luncheon. Later on she said, I have only one thing for a luncheon. She orders for the salmon. Now when the salmon has been cooked, that time she is saying, I have never eat more than one thing, but unless you have a little caviar. Now caviar, again, it was the very expensive dish. Caviar, it is an expensive dish because this dish is made up of eggs of the large fish called as the sturgeon fish. So the eggs of the sturgeon fish, they are often eaten raw and they are eaten as an appetizer. So again, this was beyond the imagination of the narrator. They were very very expensive and the lady had ordered for the same. I knew I could not afford caviar, but I could not very tell her that. For myself, I chose the cheapest dish on the menu, and that was a mutton chop. I think you are unwise to eat meat, she said. I don't believe in overloading my stomach. She ate the caviar and she ate the salmon. She talked gaily of art and literature and music. But I wondered what the bill would come to. When my mutton chop arrived, she took me quite seriously to task. The author was startled because the caviar was very expensive, but he was not able to tell to the lady about this situation, what he was facing. So the narrator managed to try to handle this embarrassing situation. Now even he had to order something for himself. So he saw the menu card, and among all the dishes he saw which was the dish which was very very cheap in price. So he ordered for himself the cheapest dish, that was a mutton chop. So the poor narrator, he had ordered for the expensive two dishes for the lady, that is the caviar and salmon, and for himself he had ordered just a cheap mutton chop. But the lady, she tells the narrator that it was not good to overload the stomach by eating meat. The waiter, he bought the caviar, he got the salmon, and the lady she was enjoying eating the dishes. The lady, she was talking cheerfully about the literature, about the music, and all the subjects she talked was the subject which the narrator would enjoy to talk of. But he was not in a state of mind now. He was not in a state of mind to talk about all these things because he was all thinking about the bill that would come to him. He started calculating the amount in his mind. Just imagine what the narrator must have experienced at that time, that the mutton chop arrived. By the time the narrator dish had come, the lady had already finished eating her dishes. That is, she had eaten a caviar, she has eaten a salmon fish. But when she saw the narrator is about to have the mutton chop, she said to the narrator, You are overloading your stomach by eating the mutton chops. She further adds up saying to the narrator that you're overloading your stomach by eating the mutton chop, she said. She said to him, follow my example. See, as I don't have anything, eat anything for my luncheon, even you follow the same thing, she said. Even you don't have anything because you're overloading your stomach, follow my example. See, I don't have anything for the luncheon, even you do the same thing. So student, this is the end of the first part of the chapter where you have seen the condition of a narrator when he takes the lady to the luncheon at the Foyot's. Now here in this part she has just ordered for the caviar and for the salmon. In the second part of the chapter we will learn what are the other dishes she orders and what condition or what embarrassing situation the narrators goes through into the second part of the chapter. I hope student you all have understood the first part well. Thank you students.